What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for November 28th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Thursday edition of the podcast, a Thanksgiving edition. Happy Thanksgiving. It is a day to be thankful. I am thankful for my family, friends. I am thankful for all of you out there listening, spending some of your Thanksgiving with me. And honestly, just very thankful for this podcast in general. Has opened up so many opportunities for me, working with the folks at the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, getting to be a part of that organization, the guys over at On Pattison, being featured in their newsletter a couple times a week, Philly Goat, great partnership with Ryan over at Philly Goat, the guys at the Clashing Conferences, everyone, thank you. I'm super thankful for you. We've got big things planned, or at least attempting to plan for 2025. So let's continue to grow this thing. But I truly am thankful for you as I continue my quest to be the Philly sports history guy. Let's do some housekeeping. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram at PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. As I mentioned, continue to spread the word. And it is Thanksgiving. It's a good day to donate to our gift and food drive. All proceeds benefit the Maddie Ann Dixon Community Cupboard. I'm going to go drop off some gift cards on Monday, so it's still not too late. Starting Sunday, we will kick off the reverse advent calendar. I'll give you the list. It definitely is something that's fun to do with the kids, but it's a great day to do some giving. All the information you need is in the link in the description, and let's go make some holiday magic happen. All right, let's recap yesterday's question of the day. I did not ask it on the podcast. I got so wrapped up in what we were talking about yesterday and being thankful for Nick Castellanos, I completely forgot to ask the question. But my question was, should the Sixers shut down Joe for the rest of the season, just kind of give up on this season and have everybody come back? 90% of you agreed. 90%. That's a big number. I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. I know Nick Nurse was talking about wanting to see how his knee responds, and it's been a struggle. So it might be best to just shut him down for a year, have everybody come back, and just start off fresh next year. Thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. We'll have a couple fun ones here, and let's start with one. It is Thanksgiving. Obviously, everybody's going to be eating a ton. And no matter whether you do ham, I know some people do prime rib, turkey, whatever. What's your favorite side dish? I'm more of a stuffing guy. Nothing like a little bit of just have the stuffing right there, a little bit of gravy on top. But what's your go-to side dish? I know people run the gamut. So what is your go-to side dish? 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. All right, so we were at the Sixers game last night, and it was a fun atmosphere. And it's a shame. I texted this out yesterday. It's a shame that the team is just so bad this year because the atmosphere was fun last night. Wearing the City Connect, the white Spectrum ones, was awesome. I really like them. Even the DJ, like it had like a 70s, 80s vibe to the music they were playing. It was a lot of fun. The kids enjoyed it. Unfortunately, Sixers did not win, 122-115 in overtime. Tyrese Maxey had 39 points and was outstanding. Had to work hard for those 39 points too. And Jarrett McCain he struggled for the second straight game shooting the ball. And that certainly would have helped him, help the team out. He did play well on defense and made some hustle plays, but just struggling shooting the ball. And it's back-to-back games now where he struggled after kind of carrying the team. And I don't want to say it too loud, but ever since he made the proclamation that he's the Rookie of the Year, he's kind of gone in the tank. But Sixers are 3-14, I should say. They play Saturday in Detroit. No word on Paul George or Joel Embiid, but I don't know. I say just shut him down. Just have him shut down and, again, start off fresh. It's frustrating because it was the atmosphere. They do have a good game day atmosphere down there, and just to see them just not not perform on the court. I mean, and they were in the game. It's frustrating. Not trying to be frustrated on Thanksgiving, though. So let's go to the Flyers. Flyers, 3-2 win down in Nashville. Morgan Frost tied it up with 12 seconds left in regulation. Jean Couturier got the game winner in overtime. Another good win for the Flyers, who are slowly starting to learn how to be consistent and win. So look out. Looking forward to this team, and hopefully it's the opposite of what happened last year, where they got off to the hot start and faded down the stretch. All right, Eagles are getting ready for Sunday in Baltimore. Devontae did not practice yesterday. Neither did Darius Slay. They will have a normal practice today, so this will be a very telling sign for both of those guys. Slay's in the concussion protocol. Devontae's dealing with that hamstring. Saquon won Player of the Week again for the fourth time this year. No real surprise there. He's been such a stud since he got here. But I was reading it in the paper this morning, and one of the signings that they picked up to replace Brandon Graham, Charles Harris, is an interesting guy because he is a veteran, has had some success in the NFL as a rusher. And he could provide. Nobody's going to replace Brandon Graham, but he could help ease the loss of Brandon Graham because like I said, he's an 8-year vet and he's hungry to make the playoffs. He was in Carolina and was just so excited to be picked up by the Eagles. He talked about the first thing he noticed was the numbers 9-2 compared to being on a 3-8 Panthers team. So hopefully that hunger and he can assimilate into the lineup and give us some production. As I mentioned yesterday, it's hard to pick up a guy that's going to have meaningful production this late in the season, especially off of waivers. But he is a vet, and like I said, you can't underestimate the power of somebody who's hungry to win in the NFL. So we'll see how that goes. If you're looking for something fun to watch, go to the Eagles Twitter. Brandon Graham's kids did their own little show where they interview guys on the team. It was actually really cool. So if you're looking for something fun to watch, it's a quick 6-minute video. I think it's very entertaining. Bears-Lions today. We're rooting for the Bears. Bear down. I don't know. There's just something about this game that I think the Bears are going to keep it close. And it would go a long way in helping the Eagles if the Bears could pull off the upset. All right. So today, we're going to go back to 1940. And on this day in 1940, the Eagles played in their second straight Thanksgiving Day game. This time they beat the Steelers 7-0 out in Forbes Field. Dick Riffle scored the only touchdown in the fourth quarter, a 17-yard scamper. It was the second straight year they played Pittsburgh in Forbes Field on Thanksgiving. This was the only win of the Eagles in the 1940 season. Very tough season for them. They went 1-10. They set an NFL record for rushing yards in a season, the least amount of rushing yards in a season with 298, less than 1 yard per carry. Let that sink in for a minute because there was not a ton of passing that happened back then. So if you are averaging less than 1 yard per carry, your team is bad. It was a weird Thanksgiving time frame back in 1940. In an effort to spark the economy and get the country out of the Depression, FDR moved Thanksgiving up a week that year to try to give that extra Black Friday shopping time. However, not everybody celebrated Thanksgiving on November 24th. There was about 32 states, most of them Democratic states, that observed Thanksgiving on November 21st. Pennsylvania, which was a Republican-controlled state at the time, said, no, we're not doing it. We're going to celebrate it on November 28th. So there's two Thanksgivings in the United States then, but the Eagles played on November 28th. Since it was in Pennsylvania, it was a Thanksgiving Day game. All total on Thanksgiving for the Eagles, they're 6-1. They won in 1939, 1940, 1968, that infamous first win of the season against the Detroit Lions that really ruined the whole chances of getting O.J. Simpson. They won in 89, 08, 14, and lost their last appearance back in 2015 to the Lions. But on this day in 1940, the Eagles won for the second straight year on Thanksgiving, 7-0 over the Steelers, their only win of the season. Dick Riffle was the star of the game, scoring late in the fourth quarter. All right. And then finally, it is our last day of saying what we're thankful for in Philly sports. And I think today, because this is a This Day in Philly Sports History podcast, I'm thankful for just the rich history in Philadelphia. Obviously, championships have been lacking over the course of 100 and how many ever years. But we've had a lot of great players, a lot of great teams. And I think in Philly, a lot of times when our teams are doing well, we tend to appreciate it more because we know the success a lot of times is notwithstanding. So certainly thankful for the rich history. We've had Hall of Famers. We've had great stories. Had some great teams. Some of them that aren't even here anymore, like the Philadelphia A's, the Philadelphia Warriors, the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, who won the first NFL championship in Philadelphia. The Big Five we talked about before, so college basketball. At one point in time, Philly was the mecca of college basketball. The connections we make with the teams. But most of all, a lot of that history and a lot of those players and a lot of those teams, especially on Thanksgiving, it brings us together. I mean, it's a way to bond. It's a way to sometimes in some families communicate. I know there was a point in time when I was a kid and going through the typical teenage stuff, just fighting with my dad and being not rebellious, but just having those typical teenage issues. But sometimes what would make it better is we talk about the game. I remember going down to an Eagles preseason game with my dad and just things like that. So I think sports, especially in Philadelphia, it's a way to bring us together. And while the history itself might not always be positive and lacking in the championship department, I think it's worth being thankful for the rich history we have here in Philadelphia, just for the bonding experience. I mean, I remember always going to see my grandmother, and she'd always, whether it was Philly season or Eagle season, it was always, what are the Eagles going to do this year? Why are the Phillies so bad? Or just ways to spark the conversation. So that's why we're thankful for our rich history in Philly sports. Now, we might not have the championships, but we have a lot of good players and teams that we've had. So that is what we're thankful for, all in honor of our gift and food drive benefiting the Maddie and Dixon Community Cupboard. Still time to donate. Even $5 will go a long way. The link is in the description. If you're going to donate directly to them, be sure to mention Maddie and Dixon, or be sure to mention This Day in Philly Sports History so they know where the donations are coming from. But that's what we're thankful for. It is Thanksgiving. The Eagles played on Thanksgiving Day on this day back in 1940, even though 32 states did not celebrate Thanksgiving today in 1940. They moved it back, I think, the next year. It just did not work. And if you know anything about history, it took till we got into World War II to get out of the Depression anyway. But on this day, Eagles beat the Steelers 7-0 on Thanksgiving, their only win of the season. Hopefully we get some good news on Slay and Devontae today at practice. Nick Sirianni is dialed in, said he does not want anybody to wish him happy Thanksgiving until after practice. He's like, then we can celebrate, then we can eat and all that other good stuff. But I want to stay focused going into the game. And that's our coach, ladies and gentlemen. But the second bonus question of the day. What are you thankful for in Philly sports? I went through some of the lists and kind of tweaked it as we were going and went through the past few days. But what are you thankful for in Philly sports? 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. Be sure to go do some holiday shopping at Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. Check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Should be a doozy of an episode this week with the NFC East. But most importantly, happy Thanksgiving. I am very thankful for all of you out there. I truly, truly appreciate it. Just living the dream out here. And I thank you for spending about 15 minutes or so with me on your Thanksgiving. So be safe out there. Don't eat too much. Make sure you wear the elastic sweatpants, whatever you got to do. Let me know what your favorite side dish is and what you're thankful for in Philly sports on the Back to the Future voice and text line. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for November 28th, 2024. My name is Jim Montgomery, and until next time, gobble gobble.